Gardening is not just a hobby. It's a journey, an experience, and a constant source of learning. This year, our garden has been an explosion of colors, scents, and textures that have turned heads and warmed hearts. In this video, we'll take you through the highlights of our 2024 garden and share the best performing plants that have truly stolen the spotlight. From vibrant blooms to steadfast evergreens, these plants have delivered beauty, resilience, and joy all season long. Let's start with the undeniable queen of this year's garden, the Queen of Night tulip. This deep, almost black flower has captivated everyone who's set eyes on it. Planted in clusters alongside bright white narcissus, the contrast was simply stunning. These tulips thrived despite the unpredictable spring weather, showcasing their strength and beauty. With minimal care, they proved to be the perfect addition for gardeners looking to add a touch of drama to their spaces. Moving to the summer highlights, we couldn't stop admiring the sun-loving zinnias. The Sahara Starlight Rose variety, in particular, has been a showstopper. With its vibrant pink and white petals, this drought-tolerant plant performed exceptionally well even during the hotter weeks. Zinnias not only brought endless blooms but also attracted a flurry of pollinators, making the garden buzz with life. Their low-maintenance nature made them an easy choice for gardeners of all skill levels. Another summer favorite was the limelight hydrangea. Known for its large, conical blooms that transition from a pale green to a soft pink, this plant added a touch of elegance and grace. Planted as a hedge along the garden's perimeter, it created a striking backdrop and provided a soft privacy screen. Despite some initial concerns about soil acidity, these hydrangeas thrived with regular watering and a touch of fertilizer mid-season. Now, let's talk about vegetables, because no garden is complete without some edible bounty. This year, our Sun Gold cherry tomatoes outperformed every expectation. These golden orange fruits were not only incredibly sweet but also prolific. With regular harvesting, the plant kept producing, making it a favorite among kids and adults alike. Paired with fresh basil, they became the star of many summer salads. Speaking of basil, the Genovese basil was another standout performer. Its lush, fragrant leaves grew abundantly in our herb garden, providing a constant supply for pesto, garnishes, and teas. The plant's ability to bounce back after every harvest was remarkable. Planted alongside marigolds, this combination helped keep pests at bay, ensuring a healthy and thriving herb garden. Transitioning into the cooler months, the autumn joy sedum deserves a special mention. This succulent perennial brought waves of dusty pink blooms that deepened into a rich copper as the season progressed. Not only was it a magnet for late-season pollinators, but it also stood tall as other plants began to fade. Its low water needs and tolerance for neglect made it a perfect choice for the fall garden. Let's not forget the dazzling dahlias. The Café au lait variety, with its large, creamy blossoms, was a true star from late summer into fall. These blooms added a luxurious feel to bouquets and stood out in the garden beds. Though they required regular deadheading and staking, the effort was worth it for the breathtaking display they provided. Evergreens also played a vital role in keeping the garden visually appealing year-round. The Blue Star juniper, with its compact size and silvery blue foliage, was a consistent favorite. Planted in containers and borders, it provided structure and contrast to the more colorful seasonal blooms. Its drought resistance and low maintenance needs made it a staple in the garden. One surprise performer was the ornamental kale. While often overlooked, the peacock red variety turned heads with its frilly, deep red leaves. As the temperatures dropped, its color only intensified, making it a focal point in our winter arrangements. Easy to grow and tolerant of frost, it became a favorite for adding a pop of color during the colder months. Our roses also deserve a moment of appreciation. The David Australian and roses, particularly the Lady of Shalott variety, flourished this year. Known for their apricot-hued petals and rich fragrance, these roses were a constant source of joy. Regular pruning, feeding, and pest management ensured their success, and they rewarded us with blooms well into late autumn. In the realm of ground covers, the creeping jenny proved indispensable. Its chartreuse foliage spread rapidly, filling gaps and adding a bright touch to shaded areas. Despite its aggressive nature, it was easy to control and worked beautifully alongside ferns and hostas. Our native plants also had their moment in the sun. The purple coneflower, or echinacea, was a steadfast performer, attracting bees, butterflies, and birds. Its vibrant petals and seed heads added both beauty and ecological value to the garden. Even as the flowers faded, the seed heads provided food for finches and other wildlife. For those looking to add vertical interest, the sweet autumn clematis was unbeatable. This vigorous climber covered our trellises and arbors with a blanket of fragrant white flowers. Its late-season blooms filled the garden with a sweet scent and extended the floral display well into fall. Finally, we must mention the ornamental grasses. The Miscanthus morning light variety was a standout, with its delicate blades and airy plumes swaying gracefully in the wind. These grasses added movement, texture, and a soothing sound to the garden, creating a serene atmosphere. Each plant in our garden has its own story, and every bloom has brought us closer to nature. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just starting out, these plants have proven their worth and shown that with a little care and planning, your garden can thrive no matter the season. Looking ahead to the coming season, we are already planning new additions to complement our best performing plants from this year. The joy of gardening lies in experimenting, adapting, and discovering new treasures to nurture. In 2024, we saw how even small changes, such as trying a new variety or adjusting our watering schedule, made a big impact. Our goal for next year is to build on this success and create an even more stunning garden experience. Among the ideas for next year is expanding our pollinator-friendly section. Plants like milkweed, bee balm, and lavender have shown great promise in attracting beneficial insects and supporting biodiversity. This year's success with zinnias and echinacea highlighted how vital pollinators are to a thriving garden. By adding more native and nectar-rich plants, we hope to create a haven for bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds. We're also considering experimenting with container gardening. With their flexibility and portability, containers allow us to try new plants without committing to a permanent spot in the garden. We're particularly excited about growing dwarf citrus trees, such as Meyer lemons and Calamondan oranges, which will not only add a tropical vibe but also provide delicious fruits. Our composting efforts this year have also paid off, and we plan to enhance our soil health further by incorporating more organic matter. Healthy soil is the foundation of any successful garden, and by focusing on enriching it, we're ensuring the best environment for our plants to thrive. We've also been experimenting with mulching techniques to retain moisture and suppress weeds, and the results have been promising. Another area of focus will be vertical gardening. Inspired by the success of our sweet autumn clematis, we're exploring options for growing vegetables and herbs vertically. Not only does this maximize space, but it also makes harvesting easier and adds a unique aesthetic to the garden. Plants like pole beans, cucumbers, and cherry tomatoes are on our list for this venture. Water conservation will remain a priority as well. Installing drip irrigation systems and utilizing rain barrels helped us maintain our garden efficiently this year. Expanding these systems and incorporating drought-tolerant plants will ensure that our garden remains sustainable and resilient, even during dry spells. The joy of gardening is in the journey, and reflecting on our successes and lessons learned is an integral part of that process. Each plant in our garden, whether it's a reliable performer or a new experiment, contributes to the story of the space we've created. Sharing this journey with you, our fellow gardening enthusiasts, makes it even more rewarding. As we wrap up this review of our best performing plants in 2024, we hope it inspires you to try something new in your garden. Whether it's adding a bold new tulip, experimenting with ornamental grasses, or starting your own vegetable patch, there's always room to grow. Here's to a fruitful, colorful, and joyful gardening season ahead.